Joining us now, she was an all Big 12 second team all performer a year ago. She's on the all Big 12 preseason team this season. And of course, she led Iowa State in just about every category you could think of, ladies and gentlemen. Center fielder, outfielder, Milaysia Ochoa joining us here on In the Circle. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Hey, great to have you. What's that like to be honored by the league? As we'll get to, you've been honored by the league on and off the field, which we'll get to. But you're on the preseason, but you were a second team last year, all conference, if I remember, after the great year you had last year. Does that give you extra pride, confidence? How would you describe it when you find out?
Um, I was actually in practice when Coach Pink came up when they announced it. Coach Pink came up to me. He's like, "Oh my gosh, congratulations!" I was like, "Congratulations for what? Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, you made like the preseason All Big 12 team." I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know. Thank you." And then I went like after practice, I went home and looked and like saw the post and everything. It's pretty cool. Pretty like I played a lot. I played with a lot of those girls growing up. So it's pretty cool to like see all of us on a lot of us on that team, so, like seeing that we all grew up together. And now, like, I'm just like, okay, now it's time to make it real.
That is making it real.
Yep,
Uh,
now it's time to make it real.
Tell me about your team this year. How's the fall gone? And then just give us a little bit and some thoughts on this team for those that are watching your team play this year. Give me what's been your impression?
I'm really excited. We're a pretty old team. There's 10 of us leaving this year. So we have a lot of experience. My freshman year, we were at regionals. So we're looking to get back to regionals, make some postseason. Hopefully we can make a good run in the Big 12 and the committee can notice us and we can make postseason. So that'll be fun. I'm excited for this freshman class. They add some size to us, which is always exciting. And our sophomore class, after a year under them, I'm excited to see what they get to do this year. I think they'll do really well.
You mentioned it. Your freshman year, you made the regionals in Missouri, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like? And what did you take from that experience? You're hoping you've applied to the rest of your kind of run there at Iowa State, and hope to finish it off with another regional or two.
Oh, it being in Como playing there was so like unreal. Like playing in SEC with all those fans, it was so cool. Like just standing in right field, like everybody. I mean, it wasn't like everyone around you, like screaming like MIZZOU. Like it was pretty cool to just like be able to be in that atmosphere and like to just soak it up, especially being a freshman. Like, and I had a pretty good freshman year, so it was fun to just kind of like experience that and be like, all these people are here to like watch me play right now, to watch us play right now and compete against whoever we were playing that game. It was a very cool experience.
What you looking at last year? Your numbers were incredible through everywhere. What it seemed like you took your game to even a different level last year. Is that accurate? What worked for you this year? And then when you have a year like last year, what do you work on to be even better this year?
I think it's just like it was like in the middle of Big 12s when I got real hot. They moved me from I think I was batting 4-1. And like I think it's just like trying to replicate that same feeling that I was feeling then, feeling comfortable in the box, simplifying things, like getting a good pitch I can hit hard and see what happens. And I think it's just trying to get that same feeling, get in that same groove that I was in, like towards the end of the season.
You mentioned Coach Pinkerton, obviously your head coach. Describe playing for Coach Pink.
Oh, Coach Pink, he's a funny man. We always talk about he just had a granddaughter, so we're like he's very like grandpa, like he's not even like dad, he's like grandpa. So it's really cool to like see like how he cares for us and like he like really does like love us like as if we were his daughters and like through the ups and downs of season you have to like respect him for that and like he'll do anything you need from him. So it's really cool to like have that like connection with him and to like know like if I ever need something, like if I get stuck in the snow, like Coach Pink will come help me. So that's always cool to have.
No, that's correct. I don't know if you'll like the grandpa reference, but it is what it is. Uh,
We've told
Okay, good. You've
before.
told him.
He already knows.
All right, good. As long as I'm not like breaking news here, causing deal there. But that's got to be really good. Tell us a little bit about some of your teammates that people should get to know if they don't know that are players that could stand out for your team this year.
Um, I'm excited to see what Angelina Allen does. I'm a little bit biased. She's my roommate, but her freshman year, she had a really good freshman year. And then I think it's a pretty common thing. I did the same thing. Sophomore year was a little bit rough, but I'm excited to see what this year brings for her. I think she's been working really hard, so I'm excited to see what she can do this year. And another one I'm excited to see is Tatum Johnson. She's another one from California. She lives like maybe like 10 minutes down the road from me. Um, she threw very well in the fall and has been hitting very well. She's a pitcher hitter. So she's a very strong athlete. Like it's kind of crazy to like just like see her in the weight room, see how strong she is. So I'm really excited to see what she does pitching and hitting this year.
Obviously, it's unique this year in the Big 12. You got new members. You got UCF, Houston, and BYU joining the league. What advice would you give people that are visiting Ames, Iowa for the first time?
Ooh, it's I think they always say it's hard to play names. People come into Ames to play names. They always say it's hard to play names. I think we bring like such a different like energy when we're home. We don't get very many home games because we're in the Midwest. So a lot of our games are like on the road because it's a lot oftentimes too cold to play here. So when we do get to play here, like we're so pumped, we're so excited, we're so locked in. So I'm really like for them, I think it's gonna be a rough one. I'm ready to bring it to them.
What places would you recommend them to visit for those maybe fans that are going to visit?
um, like restaurants, Boulder Tap House is always a good one.
Okay.
Um, oh, I don't know what it's called. There's a place like on campus that's really good. It's like a sandwich, not on campus, but like on Welch. It's like a sandwich place that's really good. But my go-to is always Boulder. Their cheese curds, and I just found they have like this fried, like spicy honey chicken sandwich. So good, so good. I get it every time I go now. But yeah, definitely Boulder Tap House.
Ooh, okay. I'm writing this down, so I'm gonna get back to you on this and see if
Okay,
it's correct.
okay.
Describe what's it like playing in the Big 12, one of the top conferences in college softball. What is it like?
Oh, it's always fun because we always are lucky enough to play Oklahoma on the first Big 12 series. So my freshman year, first Big 12 series, Oklahoma was a little nerve-wracking, but a great experience. So fun. It's always so fun to play them. Um, Playing Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State, like it's like you can't get anything better than that. Now, like bringing UCF in, UCF's always has a good team. BYU usually puts a pretty good team together. So I'm excited to play like all of us plus the new competition. I'm really excited.
You're a California girl. How did you end up going to Iowa State?
Oh, growing up, I always wanted to go far away. I never wanted to stay in California. Not a big California girl. There's too many people there for me. But now fast forward being in the Midwest, I realized that California, I need to appreciate California for what it has.
The weather? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the beach and the food and like there's so many things that like now like looking back like I can appreciate of California that like I've lived in California my whole life, so I never like understood how like I want to not privileged but like how lucky we are to be in California. um but yeah, so how did I get here? So I always wanted to go away from California. um our old coach Court, she actually lived like it was from the same city as me, so we knew a lot of the same people. Like I had worked with a lot of the same people she worked with. Like we knew like our circles were very close to each other, so that was like an immediate connection for me. um I when Coach Court first reached out to me, I was like, it was a crazy time for me. It was like fall of my sophomore year. Like there was a bunch of people watching me, and I was like the anxiety or like the stress of like the recruiting process was like, okay, like I need this to be over with. So I was talking from, I think that connection of like Coach Court knowing a lot of the same people, like I was able to like, oh, like, what do you think about Coach Court? Like, I'm talking to her, I might go to her school, and like, I got like all good feedback. Like, even about like Coach Pink, like, I only got good feedback. So I was like, okay, let's go. Like, I'm ready to go. So,
That's pretty good. By the way, I mean, the traffic in California is worth just leaving on itself, right? I mean, that's in fairness. I
it's,
mean, that's
yeah, it's so bad. Like, especially people from like Iowa, like, they'll be like, oh, like, how far are you from this? How far are you from that? I'm like, well, I'm really only like 40 minutes, but like, if I'm trying to go to LA, like, it could take me 3 hours,
correct.
like, depending on what time I go. Like, I was like, now, like, you've lived there long enough, like, you know when to drive, when not to drive, like, which direction you can drive at which time. But like, if you don't know that, like, you're like, you could be, you a 30-minute drive could take you 3 hours.
Correct. So I think you made the right decision personally, but that's just me.
And like now I always tell people, I'm like, especially people from California, when they're like talking to me, like, oh, like this school's like, I'm talking to this school. I'm trying to debate like whether I want to stay here or go far. I'm like, you have to experience something new. Like the Midwest is like something completely different that you've never experienced before. And like, if you don't go try it now, like you never know if you're gonna like it. And it's like, I always encourage people like, go try it. Like it's a different experience. It's totally different and you could love it. Like you don't know. So
What is one thing that caught you, that hooked you in the Midwest that you noticed early on? That you're like, wow, I really like it here about this area here, the state of Iowa. I know it's a passionate state, very loyal state about their sports teams, and especially Iowa State and Ames. I've always seen the basketball games, the atmosphere, the Hilton Magic as they call it. What grabbed you about the Midwest once you made the move that's got you hooked now?
I love like the slow paced life. So like in California, it's always like go, go, go. Like how fast can I get here? Like now I have to go do this. Now I have to go do that. And I think part of that was like travel ball. Like it was like come home. Okay, I have 30 minutes. I have to eat. Now I have to go to Anaheim, which is 30 minutes away, go work out, go hit, go do this. And then by the time I get home, like I have to do homework, take a shower, eat again. Like it was always so go, go, go. And I think like that was partly because of softball, but like that's also just how life is in California. So like coming here, like you just see like people like cruise around. Like I always say, like in California, like you don't stop at stop signs, you don't have time. Here people will like sit there and like sit for a few seconds and then they'll go. Like it's
Yeah.
just such a different like slow paced lifestyle that like when I first came here I didn't understand that. Like it would drive me crazy that like people could just sit and like watch a movie for like all day long. And like sometimes you have to because you're snowed in or it's too icy to go anywhere. Or and like I've learned to like slow down, and it's okay to like, okay, it's okay to like sit here and like watch a movie all day or like take a chill day. Like it's, I think that's the thing that like I've appreciated the most about the Midwest is learning like it's okay to like take a chill, like have a slower life pace of life. And like I think yeah.
I think that's good advice in general, right? Like we sometimes are rushing into things and not kind of slow down and kind of take it all in and patience. I think that's a great message to give out there to people. What got you interested in playing softball?
My dad played baseball when I was growing up, so he played professionally in Mexico. And then like I have an older sister, so they signed up my sister for softball, and I was like, Mom, I want to play, I want to play. And then they're like, no, like you're too young, like they're not gonna let you play. And like ever since like I was little, I like as soon as I could play, like I was ready to play. Um and my mom, like she was like against t-ball, like she didn't let us play t-ball. So I think I was probably like 6 years old, and I was like playing eight and under with like all the older girls. And then um ever since then, like I always just loved it. Like funny story, when I was in third grade, it was school picture day, and I thought it was a good idea to wear my softball jersey and do my softball hair for picture day. So my third grade school picture is like me with a big bow in my hair and like
Huh.
my ball jersey on. But yeah, I've always loved it, like since I was little.
Was your dad like the one you looked up to as far as athletes were concerned, or did you have an athlete that you followed either in softball or other sports that really inspired you?
My dad actually got injured when I was young. So then after he had to get like a big like back surgery. So I never really got to watch him play. I don't I got to watch him play, but I don't recall watching him play. But like whenever we talk to people, like they always tell me like, "Oh, your dad was so good." Like we see random people and they'll like call him out, be like, "Your dad was so good." Like so it's kind of cool to like follow his footsteps. And like he actually got to come out here a few weeks ago for my graduation for the first time. He hadn't been out here, and he was like in awe of like all this like facilities that we have and everything out here. So it was really cool to have him out here. But yeah, I would definitely think like my dad, like he was a big push of like me playing softball. And like I think he's a big part of like the reason why I'm here. Because like like when I was younger, like I grew up hitting with him. Like I would play catch with him in the backyard. Like I like we would hit inside the house. Like we would play baseball in the house. Like that wouldn't happen like if it wasn't for my dad. So yeah, I think probably my dad.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense on there. I want to read off some of your accomplishments because I don't want to shortchange you. We've talked about you were an All Big 12 second team performer last year. You're on the preseason team this year. That's you were an All Midwest region third teamer twice in the NFCAL region. You were All Big 12 All Freshman in 2021. That's all on the field, but off the field, you were also Big 12 Commissioner's Honor Roll. You've been on the academic All Big 12 first team the last 2 years. Uh, how do you balance that, having the high level on the field performance with high level in the classroom?
I think it's so much about like worrying about like what you're doing at the moment. Like if it's time to do homework, like I need to focus in on my homework and I can't worry about like, oh, like I struck out my last at bat at practice, or like my last at, or like whatever happened like during practice or during the game. Like you have to be able to separate that and like, okay, like it's not time to worry about that. Like it's time to sit here and like do my homework and worry about that. So I think a lot of it is like being able to like separate, like okay, like I'm a student, okay, I'm an athlete, but then like also like I'm a person and I'm a human, and like I have to be able to take care of myself as well. So I think like a lot of it is just like finding that balance for you, like, and it's different for everyone. Some people like they need more of like the self-love and the self-care, and like some people like are good with just like are able to get away with like their separation is like doing their homework or studying or whatever. So I think like just finding that balance of like who you are, what do you need, like to be able to like do like to be able to be successful in both like all three areas of your life, whatever that looks like to you.
That's pretty impressive. Keep it doing. That's amazing what you're doing. It says you're a major in construction engineering. Is that still
Um,
accurate, or have you
I
changed?
actually changed my
Okay,
major.
so I always ask.
So I came in as a math major. Then there was a bunch of engineers on my team. I was like, oh, I want to be an engineer. So then I was like, okay, let's try construction engineering. Those classes were way too hard for me. I was not about to do that. So then I went back to math. So I'm technically an applied math major, and I have like an emphasis in statistics.
Ooh. Ooh, oh, see, I minored in statistics. I'm in that. What's your goal? What's your past softball? Is that to be involved in some sort of mathematics? Have you figured that out?
I have not. There's been lots of options that I've thought about. Being a math major, I could always like go back and be a teacher if I want to, if that's what I choose to do. But I think for now, I think I'm gonna try and stay in softball for a little bit. I'm talking about playing this summer, so hopefully I'll be able to play, whether it's here or in a different country. I'll be able to play this summer somewhere. And then I think I'm gonna try to like be a GA or try to coach somewhere this like for the next few years until I kind of figure out what I want to do. So yeah, that's kind of what like my next few years are looking like, trying to figure out what I want to do, like whether I'm going to stay in softball or like trying to part ways, which like breaks my heart. But I think for now, the next few years, I'll probably still be in softball.
What part of statistics do you like? What is it that you like about it?
That it's easier than math.
That's pretty good luck. You and I have the secret. Well, I only bring that up too because there's more and more advanced metrics now in softball. And there's
Yes.
more people being hired in sports. Not, I mean, I don't want to, I mean, I'm specifying in softball because we're talking softball, but in
Yeah.
all sports,
Mm-hmm.
more people are being hired because of advanced metrics, which involve statistics, advanced stats, and everything like that. Would that be something that would interest you
Oh,
down the
that's
road?
definitely something I've thought about, like trying to get into like the like sports analytics or like that side of it, like the numbers side of the game. We kind of do a lot, we play a lot with those numbers here at Iowa State. So I kind of have a good like a good understanding and a good grasp of like some of those numbers and like what those numbers mean and like how to like do all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely like another option that I've thought about, is like trying to go into like whether it's with like the MLB or working just with like another like company who does like the analytics of a swing or like whatever, like something like that. Like that's definitely like something else that I've thought about doing. But that's like another thing, like I have to get my foot in the door.
Sure.
So there's lots of things on the plate right now spinning around.
But that's a good thing though, is you have options, and there's
Yeah.
more options. It used to be that if you wanted to stay in softball, it was basically just coaching, but
Yeah.
that's not the case anymore. There's a lot more options now for you to be stay in softball if that's what you choose to do,
Mm-hmm.
or get involved in baseball because there's more softball people now that
There's
are
a
getting
lot.
involved in baseball.
Yeah, there's a lot of the uprising of women in the MLB is very cool to see. We actually have Sammy Williams.
Yeah,
She works for the Cubs now. She's a software engineer for the Cubs. So she's like been someone that like is kind of good to for us to like look up and be like, oh, like we can like it is like we can go work in the MLB if we want to go work in the MLB. Like we can do it.
that's a good person too to seek
Mm-hmm.
advice. She, that's not too bad. And a great player to play with, right?
Oh
What
yeah.
describe playing for her? What was she like playing with her?
Oh, it was so cool. It was unreal. Like obviously she's a great athlete, but like who she is like the leader that she is and like the person that she is was like so cool to see. Like me being a freshman, like obviously like I came in my freshman year and like started almost every game in right field. So like I kind of took on like that, like I tried to learn as best as I could, like being a freshman from like her leadership and like how she did things, so that I could like carry on like her like what she's left on with the program. So that's kind of been like she's been like she was very cool for me to like learn from as a freshman on like the leadership side of things.
Did she take you under your wing when you came on board and show you the ropes? And I would imagine you picked up from her and the other leaders on that team. You're probably now you're on the other side. Now you're the leader. You're the senior, probably leading some of the youngsters on this team.
Yeah, so my freshman year was actually like during COVID. So we weren't like really able to like, I mean, we were able to talk on the phone, but like we weren't able to like sit down and like have a conversation. We weren't able to like do a lot of that stuff, which I think like if it wasn't during COVID, like I think like things would have been a lot different. Like I think like our relationship would have like I would have had more like of a connection with her, and like
Sure.
I think I would have been able to learn a lot more than I did from her. But I think like in the circumstances we were in, like we made the best out of the situation. So yeah, I think it was pretty cool. And then now like looking at like my younger my not my younger girls, but like my teammates, like okay, who's gonna fill in this spot like next year when I'm not here? Like who's gonna like keep the team accountable? Who's gonna do this? Who's gonna make sure like everything gets cleaned up after practice? So it's cool. And then it's also cool to see like the other like the girls stepping up.
Yeah.
Like the other, like even like the girls my age, like seeing them like grow up and like, okay, no, like this is how it needs to be done. Like Camille Marin, she's like been a big help to like me and Angelina this year of like, no, like this is what needs to be done. Like she's been a good person for us to lean on. So it's really cool to see like how everyone like steps up like and grows up and is like, okay, like this is what needs to be done.
No, well said. That's good. How are you a different person today than the day you walked on campus in Ames, Iowa, for the first time as a freshman in the fall in your freshman
Ooh.
year?
Um, I think like one of the main things, like I already kind of said, is like I've learned to like have like patience in my everyday life. Like it's okay to chill out for a second. And I think another thing, another big one is like I came in, like we did this personality test like my freshman year, and like after like we got the results, and I was like, no, like this is not who I am. And then now I realize like I totally am like a lover. I'm like I want to like make connections. Like I love to like not like to help people and stuff like that. So I think that was another big like realization for me is like I don't think I could ever like sit at a desk and like work at a computer all day, because I like to like help people and like see like other people grow. And like so I think like that was another big like realization for me, something that like I learned being here.
That's good. That's part of the learning process. I like that. Now, you mentioned earlier you started off as a right fielder
Mm-hmm.
freshman year. You played center field, obviously. Have you played left field?
Mm-hmm. I only played left field, like, okay, so not in college. I never played left field in
Okay.
college. So my freshman and sophomore year, I played right field, and then last year I played center field, and this year I'll play center field.
Okay. So, because I was going to ask you, compare playing right field versus playing center field, the similarities and differences. Do you have a preference?
Um, I think I would prefer right field. I'm a little bit like playing center field is hard, but like I think I would definitely say I think I prefer playing right field. I'm more comfortable in right field.
But you have more exciting plays to do in center field. You got more range,
you
right?
you do, you do. And I feel like the ball gets hit to center field more often.
Yeah, that's probably why they put you there. They
So
trust
it
you.
is
They
like,
trust you there.
and also like it helps that like I can, last year I had a freshman in right field, and then a girl who had never played outfield and left field next to me. So I was able to like kind of help them and like kind of help like with the gaps a little bit. So I think that was like another big reason they had to move me to center field to help out with that. But yeah, center field is fun and exciting, but I think I would definitely say I prefer right field. I'm a little bit more comfortable in right field.
That's funny. Well, you got versatility. We'll see how the season plays out. I'll let you go on this. What's going to be the keys for your team to accomplish your internal goals this year? You mentioned that you all want to get back to a regional like you did in your freshman year. That'd be a great way to cap it off. How do you do? What's the keys to doing that?
So I think it starts with like the everyday little things, like coming to practice, locked in, ready to get better each day, each rep, like can't take a rep off. And I think like if you work from the little things, then hopefully like the little things add up. And then when it comes in 2 weeks, is it 2 weeks? I think 2 weeks is
Yeah,
opening.
yeah. By the
Yeah,
time we start, yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah,
about 2 weeks. Yeah, we're opening in Mexico, so that's going to be really exciting. But I think just like going in each day, like whatever happened yesterday, like it's time to get better today. And like even each rep, like, okay, like this happened, but now we need to get better from it. How can we learn from this so it doesn't happen again? And I think just like having that mindset throughout the games and like just working together to like help each other, I think will get us like like hopefully to our goals this season.
that's pretty wild. Full circle moment for you when you play in Puerto Vallarta. That's where the Iowa State will start the season. So you'll be in Mexico where your
Mm-hmm.
dad played professionally.
Mm-hmm.
That's Have you thought about that? Has that hit
Mm-hmm.
you all as a family, a kind of a full circle moment?
I definitely have not thought about that, but that is, I don't know exactly where in Mexico. I think he played a lot in Mexico City, I want to say,
Yeah.
which I don't know how far that is from Puerto Vallarta, where we're going to be playing.
Yeah, I'm not a traveling expert on that one. That one we
Yeah,
may
I
have
don't know.
look into. You got time to figure that out, though. You got time.
Yeah, but that is pretty cool. I haven't put that together yet.
Yeah, I think that's a cool family moment there. Like, what are the odds that a father and a daughter get to play in a country in Mexico, not in the United States? Obviously, that's more
Yeah.
common in the States, but to play in Mexico where he played professionally, and now you're going to play there to start your senior year in a marquee tournament. That's pretty cool. I'm sure it's just as cool when you go to California and play in a tournament there, because you'll get to see a lot of friends and family. But certainly in Mexico, that's unique in itself. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm really excited because both of my parents and both of my sisters and actually my uncle are coming to Mexico to come watch play. So I'm very excited that they'll be able to be there and like take a little vacation and come watch me play. So
As long as they watch you play and you don't get distracted by all the scenery. All right, make sure they don't get distracted. All right.
I'm very excited to play Duke in Mexico though.
Why Duke specifically?
Um I when I was growing up, I played for Robert Young.
Okay. Yep.
So the coach's name is Marissa, right?
Marissa Young. Yeah, head coach.
Marissa. So
Yeah.
I played for her dad growing up.
Her dad. That's a good full circle moment there in itself. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
so I don't know if he's gonna be there, but it would be pretty cool for him to
Right.
be there and like to see him
See, it's big
because
reunion.
I played with him when I was like 11
Yeah.
or 10.
10 year, 11 years old. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's a big reunion.
yeah. And Duke is a very good team, so I'm excited to play them.
Yeah, they're probably top 10, top 15 team in the country. So it's a good way to start and test yourself for sure.
Mhm.
Should be exciting. So I wish you well on that
Mhm.
trip. I wish you well this year. But thank you for taking the time to talk to us and getting to know you a little bit and continue the success. Good luck this year. And thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.